Hello, I'm Russell White. If you've seen my handle before on X, it's at Consequia, Consequia. I've been telling a bit of a story, and today is disclosure for day 100. So there's 100 days left. There's a misinformation and disinformation bill that's being passed through the Australian Parliament at the moment, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this disclosure, is to obviously get the information out there before it is actually put into law that you can't actually speak about your government if they are doing the wrong thing to you and to others. So that's basically where we're at in Australia. We're trying to fight for our freedom of speech because it's not written into our constitution. Unfortunately, we don't have a Bill of Rights. We do have a constitution, but it doesn't say freedom of speech and information like it does in America, but it should do. And being a part of Western society, that should be a fundamental principle across all of Western society, if not the world, that freedom of speech and information should be readily available because it's the only way to stop the criminals from doing what they're doing. And that is the dictatorship of governments and the deep state that we have within each country that effectively are taking full advantage of their citizens. And we elect these criminals in, but the truth is we only have two parties to select. So we have Labor or Liberal. They either get in, and the reality is they're just part of the same bum, two cheeks, and one big brown eye. And that's the reality of our situation, unfortunately, in this country. We need an independent to come in, someone like a Donald Trump that will come in and actually fix what needs to be fixed. And we need the same thing here in Australia. And if you disagree with me, I'm very, very, very sorry, but that's how I feel. And I have a story to tell, and I've started to tell it, and we'll get to that now. So basically, I just want to discuss how I obviously got to this position where I'm talking to you about my situation and telling you my story. And my story is a true story. 100%. I started to develop a technology back in 2007. It's been extremely difficult. It's been about 17 years now that I've been on that same technology tangent called Consequia, which is effectively the freest and fairest way to do a global system for humanity. From someone that's a security expert that's been destroyed by the system, you can trust that I would not put in place what they want to put in place. I want a free and fair system. I want equality. That's fundamentally what I wanted to achieve at the end of all this. So you'll hear lies, you'll hear this, you'll hear that, Russell's this, Russell's that, he's a monster, whatever. I don't care. The truth is, I know who I am as a person. I know what I've done, know what I haven't done. And I can tell you right now what the Australian government has allowed to happen to me through the family law industry of Australia is absolutely disgusting. Is the best way to put it. And it shouldn't happen to anyone if they have never committed a crime to justify torturing a member of your society. And I have not committed a crime, so I do not deserve to be tortured by my country just to keep the feminists happy in this country effectively, because that's the only reason you've got, because I haven't committed a crime. So anyway, I digress. If you have a look here, I have a little, let's see, I've got some notes. So let's just touch on those just briefly. So the family law industry of Australia, for me, it's been the Ringwood Magistrates Court in Victoria. It's been the Federal Circuit Court in Melbourne. It's been the Family Court of Australia in Melbourne as well, and the High Court of Australia in Melbourne and Canberra. Now, there's a whole story that goes with that, and we'll get to that another time. That will be a whole different video, but this is just me kind of giving you an understanding of what's going to happen. Then I'll refer to how the Commonwealth Government of Australia used judicial immunity and the separation between powers excuse to actually create this dictatorship through lawyers and judges, magistrates and justices to control society effectively. And they're doing it. We all know they're doing it. It's re-engineering society to whatever they believe. And their belief system is skew-if, because this feminist rights movement has gone way too far left, and now it's doing severe damage to the right. And now we need to step up and go, we have testicles too. You know, we're men. We're actually going to reclaim our manhood. Thank you very much. Stop trying to take away everything from man. Like, you're destroying men. You're destroying families. You're destroying children. You really are. Anyway, so the Commonwealth Government, I've contacted every single agency you possibly can to get this situation resolved. And I have a massive database. Now, that database I'll show you in a minute, so you'll know that I'm not talking shit. Anyway, the International Criminal Court. I have got the International Criminal Court involved with this case, the Welton investigation, and they're aware of Consequia. So they're aware of, I'm the person in Victoria that's trying to create the system while they're creating their own version of it, while complaining about my human rights at the International Criminal Court, while being able to be blocked by the Attorney General here because of legislation written in to that Attorney General role that means he can block investigations of the Rome Statute, which is an international law obligation that we signed onto in 2002. But he has the right somehow, don't ask me how, written into legislation, the Attorney General, Mark Dreyfus, can refuse my request to the International Criminal Court, and that's the reason why the third and final request has been delayed for so long. I've been to the International Criminal Court two times prior, and they both said judicial immunity, separation between powers excuse. Now I'm going back a third and final time and saying, are you still using that excuse after 8 fucking years and no crime committed? Yeah, so that's where we're at. Alright, so then we can discuss Consequia. Now, a lot of people are going to want to know more about Consequia, and in the coming times I'll make a video specific just for Consequia. But yeah, Consequia is a 17-year mission. It is quite simply how to create the freest, fairest system possible for humanity. Now, the government need to be involved, but they will not oversee it at all. It will be an independent company with a set of rules and conditions that everyone will agree upon, humanity will agree upon, and then we'll use that system. That system is your protection against governments. It is your global system to protect you against governments. That's how important Consequia is. And the algorithm Q, which is something else we'll touch on, and that's like a blockchain. I want to create my own cryptocurrency as well to go along with the system that will be a free and fair financial system. They're just quite simply, it's your money. It's that simple. Your money. Anyway, and then, the equality statement. Now, I truly do want to achieve equality 100%. I don't believe just because you're male or you're female you should have any rights, whether you're black, pink, purple, whatever. You should have any different. The way that you are when you're born, you do not get a choice. Your parents obviously meet, they have sex, and then you come into the earth. You have absolutely no say. You just get given what you're given. So, and then once you get to a certain age, you've got to fight for everything that you've got. There is no doubt about that. So yes, that's where we're at. So we need a system for the people, for equality, that's not government controlled, but there does need to be some official oversight. There's no doubt about it, because what I propose is the security system for the internet. That is a social network to connect to enterprises. So any business that's registered globally, pretty much, and any government, and everything, the whole system will be open to everyone. It'll be the freest, fairest system we can possibly make. It's just that simple. I don't want to create a monster. I want to create a system that you can use to protect yourself from government. And that's what Consequia is. So let's just touch on Consequia just briefly. So if you have a look at this, you can see the Welton investigation, Australia International Criminal Court, and you can see that there's dates. So obviously in years. So if we click into 2024, and if I go into my research folder, you will see the following folders. A lot of that has Q and Consequia, and it's a lot to do with what I propose to do, because there's no point breaking the system if you can't offer a blueprint to solve the problems that we're all experiencing. So that's what we're doing. So I'm a security expert from Melbourne, Australia. I put myself on a mission at 18 to be the best person I possibly could be, and I became a security professional. And because I was a criminal when I was younger and I was a little shit, I evolved very fast in an industry where obviously I had prior experience from another perspective. Now, I've used that perspective to advance very thoroughly through an industry where I was extremely successful. And by doing that, I set myself on a mission to, as I said, create a better world, a better place. And I believe that we require a technology to do that, and we cannot leave it to people. There's just no doubt about it. We just can't. And we need fundamental technology for the people. And how would you do that? You would need a security system, so you would need a security expert. So fundamentally, that's what I am. I put myself on a mission. Unfortunately, because of the situation with family law in this country, I've been destroyed. So I was unable to complete Consequia nearly 8 years ago. Instead, I've been destroyed by the government instead. And they have not treated me very well at all. They've treated me extremely poorly, to the point where I've had to reach out to international help just to get my story told. And now, with only 100 days left until my freedom, effectively, I'm telling you this story so you're prepared for the information that I will put forth on that day, that you'll be able to see, which will be able to back up everything that I state. So I am Russell. My name, I don't mind my name. It's not too bad. I'm trying to create Consequia. I have 2 beautiful children. I'm very fortunate in that sense. I'll be getting them back in 100 days, which is part of what this is all about. I'll be able to finally have my children back, even though I never committed a crime to have them stolen from me in the first place. And I'm going to create Consequia. Now, that's either with the Australian government, because if they don't stop, I'm not creating it with them. I'll go to America and I'll give this to the Americas, because this will pay off their GDP. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't accept it here as Australia. I mean, I've offered the government 50% of Consequia, the Australian government, just to have a system free and fair for everyone. You know what I mean? So I've offered the system, the free and fair system, to the government, and they've rejected it. Instead, they've screwed me over for 8 years, and now they're trying to create their own version. That's where it's at. That's exactly where it's at. And it's very unfortunate. So, just one other thing. Some people might have seen this. And that is a vision I had. So I created it. And I had that vision on, only 12 minutes. I had that vision on, believe it or not, Christmas Day 2017. I had a vision in my mind. Now, I won't tell you how I created that vision, so to speak, but what I'll do is I'll give you examples so you can understand how I created that. So if you have a look at this, so there's a triangle with the 3, 6 and 9, and then if you have a look down, I've crossed it over, made a Star of David, followed the same sequence, but using A's, B's and C's in the same sequence, and a 0 at the middle. And then I've created, obviously time is at the center, and if you can see how I've actually created the sequence from right and then around. So everything starts from the right and then goes into a spiral out like the golden ratio through the equation. But you can see there's 2 linear lines there, from 7 to 1 and from 4 to 10. That's to represent the tangent and the narrative lines. So as you can see, there's like a lot of math involved in explaining the situation. But what I've done is, to simplify it, I created this. And that's a good visual guide of the equation. Good visual guide. So, what effectively is all that? Imagine if you were trying to create a system, how would you create the algorithm to manage it effectively? And what is right, what is left, what is up, what is down, what is the past, what is the present, what is the future? What is linear, what is in a line, what is in a spiral as it goes around whatever equation it is? But why don't we create... I suggest we create my idea into an algorithm and put it through this security system I intend to create called Consequia. And this equation I call Q. Just simply Q for quantum. Is fundamentally a very complex system to manage massive information. You know what I mean? Mass communication and emergency management, effectively. So the system evolved. I got the idea. There's a whole story behind it. I'll get to it one day. But as I said, I've got the blueprint for the system. I've also been destroyed by the Australian government as I'm attempting to create that system. As I've tried to negotiate with them, they've stolen my intellectual property and now they're creating their own digital system. I believe this information has actually been passed on by the Australian government to the UN, to the World Economic Forum, and to the elite. I believe they know who I am. I am the alternative, effectively, to a full governmental system. At least with my system, there will be a set of rules that will be there for humanity. And they haven't come out and created any rules before they've even created the system. At least that was in my mind before I even got anywhere close. Now, in saying that, Constitution, I do have one. Say I've started already. Yeah. And obviously, it goes on and on. So yes, as I said, I'm going to continue to do these videos. This is day 100, so getting you all ready for what's going to happen next. There's a bit of a countdown. There will be another 3 months and 9 days to wait for all the information, but I can't do it in good conscience now because it would affect the orders that they have on me, and that would just give them an excuse to lock me up. So I can't say anything about my ex-wife specifically, which I don't want to do anyway. Which is good. I don't want to talk about my kids other than the fact that I love them and I miss them and I want to see them as much as I possibly can whenever I can, when that day does finally happen, which is the countdown to 2025, where I'll finally be free and be able to say and do whatever I can and want, and be a free man again, effectively, because I will not be controlled by an order limiting my speech because of the control that other people have on me for no reason whatsoever other than narcissism and feminism and control. So other than that, the reality is I'm fighting the system. I've given you an update. There's the Welton investigation. It goes through the family law industry. That's over the last 8 years, nearly 8 years, which has delayed this from obviously happening. Consequia should have been developed in 2013. It didn't because of certain factors. My relationship with my wife deteriorated. I deteriorated because I was struggling with the whole Consequia idea. You can imagine trying to create the system for everyone and then losing your family, and you start to lose your wife and everything else. And then so there was no actual violence. I do have to admit that. There was no actual physical violence. I never struck anyone or hurt anyone. Even now, after everything that they've done to me, I still have not committed a crime of violence at all. So I just want to make that clear. I am unique in that way. Some people do flip it and lose it, and I can understand why people do flip it and lose it sometimes, but it's never acceptable. But you can understand to a certain point the level that this person has been pushed to in order for them to make that decision. And that's the type of consequences that the government doesn't actually put into their thoughts when they create this legislation and create a demonisation of men. And now this Western society cancer agenda to give the women everything and to demonise men and to destroy families it has to stop. Now on X, there is a movement that I've started, a page in communities that is the men's rights movement, and you'll be able to look that up. There's also another community in there specifically for Consequia. I'd love you to join and chuck on the notifications and receive my updates. As I said, you'll be receiving a lot more information in the coming months, and obviously limited information between now and then. There will be more posting other people's stuff and giving my thoughts and my opinion why I still have free speech in this country. So yeah, that's what can I say? It's a pretty good introduction to what is actually going to happen. I am going to, as I said, make full disclosure at the start of the new year in relation to all the corruption within Australia, in relation to the family law industry, which is just absolutely disgusting. Don't even get me started. You are guilty until you're proven innocent, and then when you try to prove yourself innocent, they just fucking destroy you. So, And then there's my idea. I'm clearly the architect of the digital ID system. No idiot in that cabinet has any idea what they're doing or how to create a system such as. And obviously I do, and they have my information, so hence the reason why they know what to do. But they don't have me, because only with me will it actually be fully done in the right way. And it's just that simple, because the government cannot be in control of the digital ID in the way that they propose, because it is draconian and it's going to turn into an absolute monster, and you're going to lose all your rights. Consequi is to have those fundamental rights that we don't have enshrined into technology that you use within any country. That's how powerful it is. That's why they don't want to create Consequi, but we will. We will, the people, create Consequi. Anyway, thank you for the time to obviously listen to me. I know that I've been babbling on a little bit, but you're getting a little bit more of an understanding. And what I'll do is I tried to explain that I'm going to make a few short videos that just explain each section better, and they'll be the type of video that you will see come disclosure time, but there'll be a lot more name dropping, telling exactly who did what and this and that. So, but that's what's coming. So thank you, and look, share around, please. Get everyone to join me. I'm not a bad guy. I really do want equality. I really do want a free and fair system. I really do want a better Australia, and what we've got at the moment is nothing but a piece of shit. In the actual, as I said, the government's terrible. You've got One Nation, Pauline Hanson. Please vote for Pauline, everyone. But please, and if you don't want to vote for Pauline, vote for Senator Babbitt from the United Australia Party. But yeah, as I said, that's obviously only in the Senate. But you know, we need to do something. Pauline really is someone like a Donald Trump that's going to come in and is going to make positive change, and that positive change is actually going to be for the people. Now, we're not always going to agree with everything she does, but I tell you what, we're going to agree with a lot more of what she's doing and what she can do if she has the right people behind her, and that's just a reality that we need. We need to get rid of Labor and Liberal. Albanese, Dutton, gone. Whatever they've got planned for our agenda, yeah, fuck it off. Yeah, bring in an independent and let's all sit down and, as I said, discuss Consequia, and then only if you agree we will create Consequia. It's just that simple. So anyway, thank you very much for your time, and as I said, spread the word. Russell White at Consequia on X. Thank you.